What is going on, people inside that internet machine? Welcome to this episode of Odds and Ends. In a previous video, we looked at the video games that I beat in 2020, but what did I watch in 2020? Okay, so I'm not gonna lie, this video is not gonna be very visual because I don't have a bunch of boxes to show you. This is what's going on. I got a shadow over here and I got a spot right there. So we're working with it today. So it's gonna be more of an auditorial episode. So put on your favorite game, maybe play with your action figures, sort through your video games, whatever it is, put this on in the background. But what we're going to do is we're going to go through the list of brand new movies and TV shows that I watched in 2020. I thought, what the hell, we'll keep a list. This is pretty much for Gore, the movie god, So first thing, we watched all of the Mad Men. I think there was 8 seasons. I didn't like the way it ended, and I didn't really like the last 2 seasons. Star Wars, The Clone Wars. Hey, if you're a Star Wars fan on this one, don't cheat yourself. Treat yourself. Make sure you watch Star Wars, The Clone Wars. Man, I dug into it, got hooked, and it was crazy. And I really like that it bridges the gap between the third movie and sort of kind of the fourth movie-ish, the second and the third movie, Clone Wars and Revenge of the Sith. So I thought it was really good. I like the animation style. I liked all the characters that they introduced, all that stuff. Ozark was amazing. They should never stop making that show. Tiger King, I think I watched through that like 3 times. What drama. Tiger King was amazing. Mandalorian, we finished all 3 seasons. I think season 3 came out this year, or late, whatever it was. But Mandalorian is absolutely amazing. If you're a Star Wars fan, I highly recommend it. Again, it's one of those well, Jon Favreau does a great job, but it fills in the spaces in between some of the story from the original movies and from like the Clone Wars and Rebels and stuff like that. So very, very cool. Highly recommend it. Wild Wild Country, How to Fix a Drug Scandal. That was crazy. It was about these, I think these pharmacists that were stealing drugs from the evidence rooms or the labs, which was very interesting. So if you're into that kind of stuff, crime drama, whatever, check that out. Operation Odessa, hashtag Black AF. I thought that show was really, really good. It's sort of shot like Modern Family a little bit. It's sort of almost like a documentary style, I guess is what they call it. But very good show, very smart show, and highly recommend. The Innocence Files, Surviving R. Kelly, what a monster that guy is. The Platform. This was a movie that was on Netflix, and it was about a prison, and then it's like a prison that's built vertically, and in the middle there's like a hole, and this platform drops down with food on it, and then after like 2 minutes it drops down so the people at the bottom don't get anything, and it was just crazy. Very good movie. Disney's Cars. Never watched Disney's Cars before. I saw it was on Netflix, so I was like, hey, why not? It was okay. Wreck-It Ralph was good. Slobby's World was another one of these sort of Pawn Stars, American Picker type shows, and he's got like a retro video game and toy and vintage clothing shop in Arizona. It was only like 2 or 3 seasons, but it was pretty good. I like those kind of shows. I end up learning quite a bit. Castlevania, seasons 2 and 3 I think came out last year, but I watched them all. The animated Castlevania is really good. The Hateful Eight. I never watched The Hateful Eight with Sam Jackson. It's a Tarantino movie, and now it's in my top 5 Tarantino movies. I love that movie, and Sam Jackson did a great job in that movie. I love his character. A Bad Mom's Christmas. I forget what that one was. Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. Okay, here's my thing about the last 3 Star Wars movies. They are what they are. I don't really like Rey as a character, but I like Kylo Ren as a character, so take that for what you will. That's something maybe we can discuss on a live stream or something. Watched Dead to Me, Season 1. I kind of forget what that one is about. Working Moms, Season 1 and 2. The Lincoln Lawyer. I wrote a note here. I forget. The Lincoln Lawyer. I don't remember that one. Jeffrey Epstein, Filthy Rich. wow, you want to watch a documentary on one of the most hated men in the history of the world, check that one out. Oh, the Sandler movie, Uncut Gems. I thought it was pretty good. It's worth a watch, you know, if you're into sports and that kind of stuff. Adam Sandler. Snowpiercer, pretty good. Athlete A. I think that one was about the sex scandal with the U.S. Olympic team. Watched The Office. Now, I'd watched The Office maybe an episode here or there, but this year I buckled down, watched all of it, and in my opinion had the best final episode of any series that I can remember to date. They made a bunch of callbacks to the older episodes and really wrapped it up nicely. I like The Office. It's a great show. Mucho, mucho amore. The Long Dumb Road. It's sort of a buddy comedy with Jason Malouzakis. Fatal Affair. Okay, I want to talk about this one. Fatal Affair is like it's like a suspense, right? It's like coming after your wife stalker type movie, and it's got Omar Epps. And if you know anything about Omar Epps, he was in like Higher Learning, The Program. He's been in a lot of movies. He's kind of babyface, you know what I mean? He's always sort of cast in the role of the good guy. Well, in this movie, he's the bad guy. He's the stalker. And they did so many of these spots where it's like dark, and then somebody moves, and Omar Epps is standing back there all ominously in a hoodie. And I'm like, come on, man. Nobody's buying that. But as far as a watered down, you know, I'm stalking your wife kind of psychological thriller type movie, it was decent. It was okay. Watched a movie called The Old Guard. Left on a Cliffhanger. Immortals. I don't really remember what that one was about. The Last Dance. The Last Dance is the greatest sports documentary of all time. It's about the 90s Bulls with Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, and it was very interesting. And that's about the time period I grew up. You know, my 12 to 15 years old was kind of in that range. The first Jordan run. And yeah, he was the best player on the planet. He was the most captivating athlete. He was one of those guys that was really the first international superstar that I could remember, especially mainstream American sports personality transcending the whole world. And yeah, I love The Last Dance. Fear City was about the mob and the New York cops in the 70s and 80s. Clash of the Titans. Never watched the original Clash of the Titans. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it so much I started looking at Clash of the Titans figures on eBay. Power of Grayskull. Definitive history of He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. That's obviously something that I'm going to watch throughout the year. That was amazing. Sinatra, All or Nothing. If you don't know me that well, I'm a huge Sinatra fan. And that documentary was really good. It's a beautiful documentary. And if you're into that kind of thing, definitely watch it. Last Chance U. I love Last Chance U. Season 5 came out this year. I don't think it had as much drama as the first couple seasons did, but it's still interesting to see what goes on at these junior colleges and with these athletes. Hannibal. Hannibal, the TV show with Lawrence Fishburne. It's, I forget how many seasons it was, maybe 3 or 4. But again, it had a great ending, and it kind of hovers in between the Silence of the Lamb movies, you know what I mean? So there's details about other movies and callbacks and stuff like that. Rob Schneider, Asian Mama, Mexican Kids. It was a stand-up that he did on Netflix. It was okay. It's worth a watch. I thought it was pretty tame, you know, a little watered down. Not a lot of bad language, stuff like that. Ocean's 13. Never saw Ocean's 13. Well, it is what it is. Speed Cubers. This was awesome on, I think it was Netflix. It was about Rubik's Cube and, you know, these kids that solve a Rubik's Cube in like 4.3 seconds, and then like a 12-sided Rubik's Cube, and they go to all these competitions and seeing like the progression of the world records. Very, very interesting. The Speed Cubers. Make sure you check that one out. Bird Box. I watched it. I don't really get it. High Score. Watched it twice. Gave me goosebumps, and it was nostalgia overload. Like I said, I watched that series twice. For the Love of Spock. Another good documentary. Cobra Kai. You know, we watched all the Cobra Kais. We're up to date on all of our Cobra Kais. I just wrote, hell yes. LaRusso's wife is hot. Great callbacks and 80s references. So those were my notes on Cobra Kai. Hoops. Animated. You know, Netflix is doing a lot of this F is for Family, Big Mouth. They're trying to cash in on this sort of shock animated comedy type stuff. watched Hoops. It wasn't as good as F is for Family or Big Mouth, that's for sure. Studio 54. Crazy times back then, that's all we can say. Hashtag Alive. It was an apocalypse movie. It's sort of set in Korea. It's a zombie movie, and the guy's like in his apartment, and then he's going to kill himself, and he finds out that there's a girl, you know, across the apartment complex. You know, there's a courtyard, and they can kind of communicate, and they get together, and, you know, I'm not going to ruin the ending, but Apollo, the history of the Apollo Theater. This made me cry twice, especially when you realize the history, the amount of historical relevance that the Apollo Theater has and had back then. You know, when James Brown was performing there, and all of that stuff, man. Just like, I'm getting goosebumps right now. It was crazy. I think that was on HBO. Watched the Harley Quinn movie, Birds of Prey, and other enameled things and junk comedy movie. You know, it was okay. I mean, it was an okay attempt. I wish they would have developed the other characters like Canary a little bit more, and maybe those movies are, you know, coming down the way. But it's one of those movies that, okay, watch it once. The Repair Shop. The Repair Shop is on, it's a British broadcasting show that was on Netflix. I think there's like 2 or 3 seasons now, but I've watched through all of them. Made me cry. And what I love about Europeans, so if you guys are watching in Europe, you know, you guys have a greater appreciation over your own personal history than we do here in the States. You know, it's like, oh, it's just sitting around, it's junk. Yeah, that was my great-great-great-grandpa. Yeah, okay, get rid of it. You know? But it's like, oh, this was my great-great-grandfather's lamp from Lancashire Townville, and it survived the war, you know? And then they go in there and repair it and make it beautiful. And just a great show. Highly, if you like, you know, pawn shops or Rick Restorations, you know, Pimp My Ride, those restoration type shows, you'll like the Repair Shop. They got some interesting items in there too. Batman the Killing Joke, never watched that. Okay, again, it is what it is. Hubie Halloween, another Sandler movie. I thought it was good. I thought it was a good movie. Again, Sandler's starting to make these sort of safe, family-friendly movies that you can play every year on TV and get residuals for. There's some callbacks to the other Sandler movies, which was kind of nice. Lego Star Wars Holiday Special. I love Lego, love Star Wars. Only made sense. It was good. I liked it. You know, I like that kind of stuff. And then the last one, and I wrote it in green, Death to 2020. A sort of interesting satire look back at 2020 and all the craziness that went on. I thought that was a great way to end the year of stuff that I was watching. I'm not going to do that in 2021, write down all the stuff that I watch. But 2020 was definitely an interesting year. So I thought, why not do it and see where this goes. So in closing, after looking at this list and thinking about the amount of time I spent watching TV and movies and Netflix and Hulu and Disney Plus, I sort of started to feel like I wasted a lot of my life last year. But, you know, it's entertainment. It's what we do to decompress, to wind down from a long day. So I just thought it'd be interesting to share with you what I watched in 2020. What are some of the things that you watched in 2020? Leave a comment down below. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share on social media, bang that notification bell so you can stay up to date on all of your CM Retro gaming goodness. Guys, take care of yourselves, and we will see you on the next one.